Welcome back to Canada Wide. Let's have a look at the timeline of our Prime Minister from 1999 to 2005, in that range, to 2020, where he has brought up his passion for his students because he was a teacher. We all know that he was a teacher, and some of the issues that have come up in that timeline that might be important for us to investigate. All this information is on the internet. It's all for educational purposes. So let's have a look at this timeline and how the Prime Minister of Canada loves his students and go through it. And we will also have a look at the British Columbia discipline database here to help see if there's some information that might, once again, is educational purposes. Let's have a listen of Pierre that brought this up publicly, a little bit more publicly, but this has sort of come up before of these rumors. So let's have a look at the rumors.
Yes, and he left right in the middle of the semester, and I'm having trouble remembering why. Oh! Now, Mr. Speaker. He certainly wasn't a math teacher. He certainly was not a math teacher.
Well, everyone seems to be standing up and thinking it was a good comeback, and, Pierre and Trudeau do those little back and forths a lot too. So they seem to be sort of in on something. That's what I gather from that. But let's have a look at Trudeau's passion for his students. We're going to pick here in Toronto, June 2001. That picture is right off of the website. It's not my choice, but that's the one they put on there. You think after all those years they changed it, but well, whatever. That's the picture we're going to go through. He did a talk. He flew in from Vancouver to Toronto, and he did some talk on education. And you can really see the passion, why he loves teaching, he loves kids. So we're going to have a to that. And there is the talk, Justin Trudeau thinking broadly about his students.
It turns me up that I can't be there because I worked with these kids over the past 3 years, and I'm so proud of them.
Our next speaker is a teacher from West Point Grey Academy in Vancouver. He loves to teach. He loves the outdoors. His name is Justin.
Wow. I can see you. I have a bit of a confession to make. I have a very special group of 30 kids crossing the stage at the Chan Center at UBC receiving their graduation diplomas. And I have to tell you, I am so proud of them. And, you could just picture the scene. They're in their robes. They're crossing the stage. They have, their parents, their siblings, all the other kids in the school, their favorite teachers, except, and it burns me up that I can't be there because I worked with these kids over the past 3 years, and I'm so proud of them, and hopefully they'll know that at least I'm thinking of them today because, boy, oh boy. And actually, more than thinking about them, I'm going to talk about them a bit. They're at that moment, that high school graduation, where suddenly you move between being a child to being an adult. Now, yes, there are lots of different moments that end up defining, what is a child, what is an adult, and everything like that. But if you had to point to one specific moment, this one is pretty key. They're no longer children. They've begun to be adults. And there's a transformation that happens there. A lot of it is great. But there's one thing that I'd like to talk about that makes me think perhaps it's not so great. Because adults look at the world differently than children do.
Okay, takeaways. He loves his students. Very passionate. He misses them. They are children. When he leaves Vancouver, they are children. In Toronto, he can't be there because they are graduating and are adults. Okay? He loves them. This guy's going to teach forever. You look at that. He will teach forever. He loves them dearly and to educate them. He's a very good teacher. That's the takeaway that I get from that. I'm not sure you can leave a comment what you get from that, but I have never had a teacher that was that passionate, I'll tell you that much. But he does. So he's doing some educational talk. It must be, wow. The students must be, wow. It's so amazing. He's talking about education in Toronto, the big city. Wow. So that's my takeaway from that. Now let's go through and some information on the timeline to put this more in perspective here. So the first one is, when did he leave West Point Grey Academy? And looking on the internet in this, and everything is getting pretty close, but it's June 2001. So this is like when he flew to Vancouver, it stopped. Okay? So that's what happened. But when you listen to that video of him talking,
it burns me up that I can't be there.
He's not going anywhere. So something happened right then and there when he flew back to Vancouver that stopped everything. I don't know. And they say, his political career or whatever like that. Well, he got married in 2005, so not much of a political career that happened at that point. He was a famous last name for sure, but that's all that happened with him at that time. So that happened right after. So let's put this in perspective here too. Spring 2001. Yeah, that Arabic Nights. I think we all know about that one a lot. So that means 3 months before he did that talk. That's what. And it is what it is, and that's on the internet. Next one. June. That's the talk you just heard. He loves his students so much. Now, the next thing is that he stopped teaching in the summer. They're pretty vague about that because from what I can see, the June 7th was actually a talk, and well, graduation's usually at the end of summer, end of June, that is. I don't know what Pierre's saying middle of the season. I'm not sure about that, but that's the timeline that has come across. And now let's have a flash into the future of Trudeau because he loves kids. And, it almost reminds me of the We charity scandal thing, where his parents were on stage. In that dome of children with the lights and the sound, it's almost like there was some pulse or some connection and vibe, and I don't know, it just seemed a little creepy how they pump everyone up. But anyway, I digress. Let's have a listen to Trudeau's passion for children. You tell me the creep level. Okay, let's have
by asking all the moms to step out of the room for a minute so I can talk to your kids. I'll give you a second. Okay.
Well, to me, that creep level's way up there. But anyway, I'm not sure that's sign language. It would almost be a little bit to say like WTF on that one. Not where's the funds. So also this picture here, Chris. Yeah, the guy in the middle. And Trudeau there. There's no really timeline in here. This is 1998. So we're talking 1999. We're talking very close, but there's not really going on at that time with Trudeau, with Chris. There's a little bit all creepy in that whole stage. The next creepy thing is the groping issue, which came up in 2000. So a year before we did that Idea City, I want to say TED Talk. It's not TED Talk. The Idea City, where you talk about intellects. Yeah, he was going around like going around doing the rounds for him, and everyone felt it differently. Now, the next thing we're going to go through is have a look at the database to link them up from the British Columbia Teachers Association when they discipline teachers. There's no connection between Trudeau or anything, but let's have a look at what it shows, and we'll have a look from that point. Okay, here is the database up here. This is the British Columbia Discipline Database of Teachers. So we'd have to put in the year to year 2000, let's say, to 2002. Let's just say 2. And we do a search. Now, what's sort of interesting on here, like when 2001 in the summer when he left, that's not the publication date. It takes after that. And when you go through this list here, there's names, and this is all public information and educational purposes, all these names. This is nothing secretive or anything going on here. If you go through and have a look here, and let me have a look. There was something that looked sort of interesting in here. There you go. It had changed the dates here, 2001 to 2003. You go through, there is the name there, whatever these names are. The only thing that looks like would make rumors, the only thing that would come up is member D2 here. And I'll click it and information will be blurred out on there. But let's have a look at D2 and what's going on here. And I will move, this is the British Columbia College of Teachers, and I'll move this now to the other location. So everything will be blurred out, and I'll leave the link where you can get this. Okay, here is member D02. So I have blurred out the information that would be way more serious. So January 13, 2001, member engaged in improper of member's daughter. So yeah, I'll leave the link where this is if you'd like to look it up yourself. But if it is June 2001, that is before the party with the Arabic Nights, the same year. Okay, so that would mean about 6 months before, in the same timeline as member D2 and the person of what the video is for. So that's the timeline of that. The next part of this paper is this. The member showed immediate remorse, pleaded guilty. Okay, so it goes through there. Cancellation effective January 8th, 2008. That is the here effective date. That's the only one right there. So totally gone at that point. This person cannot teach. So if I'm not sure why that person is blanked out, it does say to protect the victim's privacy, which is a weird thing to say. I'm not sure why someone would say something like that, but okay, January 8th, 2002 is the last day that person, member D2, can teach.
What do you think, Pumpkin?
No.
Tuning into Canada-wide news. Hold up, before you dash off. A little birdie tells me many of you are ghosting around here without joining the subscriber crew. Given Trudeau's keen interest in making the internet his own sandbox, hitting that subscribe button is your golden pass to always catching our broadcasts. Catch you on the flip side.